But how are we able to discern the truth? For Benedict, the answer never is faith alone. Faith requires reason, otherwise it would be irrational and degenerate into superstition. But reason alone cannot learn the whole truth. Only with faith informed by reason can man ever come to know God and therefore the truth about himself. Wartime Germany. Fear, violence and destruction. Against the backdrop of totalitarian ideology, the Pope learned at an early age that the absence of truth leads to inhumanity. For the young Joseph Ratzinger, the horrors of Nazi Germany were a powerful example of a society built without God and built without respect for human dignity.
Ratzinger gehört ja zu einer Generation, die noch in den allerletzten...
Ratzinger belongs to the generation of those young men who were the last ones to be sent into the war. He was only 17 then, I think. One of that last generation that was used as cannon fodder. It's practically by chance that he didn't die in the war. I believe that this shapes his entire character and worldview. And when today we analyze the speeches of the Pope, it becomes clear that he wants to overturn the experience that life is meaningless or that meaning can be destroyed, which is a very European experience.
Was eine spezifische Erfahrung Europas ist, herauszukommen.
Today, the crisis of meaning has taken on a more subtle form. Relativism, he says, is an attitude that recognizes nothing as definitive. There are no objective criteria. There is just self and subjective desire. Under the semblance of freedom, relativism creates prisons by locking each person into his or her own ego.
Relativismus ist ja eines seiner ganz großen Stichworte.
Relativism is one of his big keywords. The loss of truth is the loss of meaning. And another keyword is the self-destruction that takes place through a sort of consumerism or hedonism, where the highest form of self-realization is self-centered pleasure, where even personal relationships are looked at as either useful to me or not, and this leads to isolation. He experienced the loss of meaning very early on in two ideologies that try to achieve something similar, though in different ways. First Nazism, and then Marxism, which he encountered at the university.
Ideologie, die eine, die rote, die vom Studium her kennt.
The divorce between faith and reason is what the Pope sees as the heart of Europe's problems. And his concern extends beyond Europe to the United States.
He has this vision of the first world. He sets forth for us to consider if you will, a critique of some aspects of modern society, which includes Europe and the United States, a highly secularized culture, a culture which so emphasizes individual freedom that it submerges the common good at times.
For Pope Benedict, America has a unique cultural position in the modern world. It shares some of Europe's problems, but has avoided others. Unlike Europe, America still goes to church.
I think he has a sense of a certain way in which the American nation has developed, which highlights also a different way of addressing the question of religion in the body politic, and that there is a religious sense present in much of America. It's very secularized in some aspects as well, but a religious sense that is perhaps more palpable in many ways than you find in some areas of modern Europe. And I think he appreciates that and will try to build on that.